What's going on, everyone? One of the big names still in free agency is Collin Sexton. Collin Sexton hasn't been able to work out a deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers in order to be re-signed there, and there are lots of talks of what is going to happen. Where is he going to go? Who is he going to play with? Why are the Cavs so reluctant to sign him? They are still very part as far as salary goes. He wants a max deal. The Cavs don't want to give him a max deal. He's coming off of injury, and he really doesn't seem like a piece that the Cavs absolutely need, that they are desperate for. But he still is very young. He's only 23 years old, but he's a bit undersized at 6'1". So there's a lot of questions there. Also, when it comes to Collin Sexton, as great as he looks and as great of a player as he has been for the Cavs, he isn't very productive when he's on the floor. And you might be thinking, like, what are you talking about? Well, let's look at this. Collin Sexton has the second worst all-time plus-minus in his first 4 seasons. He has the second worst behind Abdul Rahim, and then Bismack Biyombo is third. And it shows that he's not the productive player that many people believe he is. And this is a concern for the Cavs. If he comes in, we were really good last year without him. We had, we were looking like that up-and-coming young team. We got a ton of talent here. Is he worth investing the money into, given that he's not as productive as he appears to be? He is actually a net negative overall when he's on the court. The Cavs are better without him than they are with him. And again, that's just age and youth and many factors that go into that. If he goes to the right team in the right situation, I do believe that he's a team player that can actually be productive and improve. I mean, we've seen lots of players have poor productive seasons and turn it around, stuff like that. I mean, maybe not to this degree, because like I said, he's second all time as far as plus minus goes, but plus minus isn't the be all end all. He is a guy that has proven that he can, put the ball in the hoop, but again, undersized at 6'1". Well, another team that had lost an undersized 6'1" guard is the Dallas Mavericks, right? Jalen Brunson ended up signing with the New York Knicks, and the Dallas Mavericks lost him, but they did make some quality upgrades. They went and got Christian Wood, who I think is going to be a super valued pickup for them. A guy that can go get you, 15 to 18 a night. He's not a great defender, but he's solid. He can hit the outside shot. He can score pretty much from everywhere. He's got a great shot. And then they also got JaVale McGee, who I think, again, he's not a big name, not a big marquee guy, but a guy that is all for playing the role, that is going to come in, he's going to be productive, he's going to be high energy, and that's what Dallas needs. Dallas needs that center that can block shots, have that athleticism, that can, fit in, that doesn't need the ball in his hands, right? That is fine with just getting lobs from Luka, and he's going to get a ton of lobs from Luka. Well, according to reports, Dallas and the Cleveland Cavaliers explored a potential trade for Collin Sexton, which would have been great for Luka, right? He would have had that running mate. However, the plus minus is for Collin Sexton, he's still a young 23-year-old player that has plenty of room to grow. Jason Kidd, I think, is going to be able to get the most out of him. We've seen what he's been able to do with guards and just the play scheme, stuff like that, to learn from a guy like Luka, who can be a scorer but can also be a facilitator. He can do many things on the court. I think Collin Sexton would really benefit from playing alongside a guy like that. And it just gives that added piece to the Dallas Mavericks, another scoring threat. If Luka's sitting out, Sexton can run the show. He could take over. He can provide the scoring punch. He could facilitate. He could do a little bit of everything. So I think that this would be a really good pickup. Now, Sexton is better suited as a 2 guard than he is a 1 guard, kind of like Jalen Brunson. Like, there's a lot of talks of, like, how will Jalen Brunson translate being the sort of point guard for the Knicks? Will his, scoring and production drop, which is a real concern. And with Collin Sexton, we saw him. He was more of that scoring guard. He has a career average of 20 points, 3 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. His best season was in 2020 when he put up 24 points a game, but he had only 4 assists. Now, it's not terrible, but, you want a guy that could get you, somewhere in like the 6 to 8 range, preferably if he's your point guard, if he's the guy that's putting up the numbers and just facilitating and orchestrating the team. I do think that it is something that could potentially be explored later on as we get closer to training camp and stuff like that, because, like, what is going to happen with Sexton? Does Sexton just say, fine, I'll just go to a team and maybe he takes like a prove it deal. I've seen people throw out teams and say, oh, why does it? I don't think he's going to take a max contract or a vet minimum deal. He wants a max contract. I don't think he's going to pull, a Malik Monk where it's like, I'll take $1 million this year to get a prove-it deal to show who I am and then go, play for another team. I mean, if he does, then that's a huge value for whatever team gets him. But I think in reality, he'll probably settle on like a 1-year deal or something like that with the Cavs, kind of try to value his stock and then maybe translate elsewhere, or a team will take a chance on him if for the right price. Because the Cavs don't really seem too much in a hurry to go and sign him. Now, the Dallas trade with Collin Sexton fell through. That hasn't came to be in any way, but we know that they at least had a discussion. So I imagine Dallas and maybe some of these other teams might at least explore the potential. Like, what is the asking price for Collin Sexton? He has a lot of question marks, but he could be a very solid player and a guy that can go be a bucket getter. I mean, you could make an argument like, would he be better suited as like a sixth man to where he doesn't have to be the facility. He could literally just come in the game and just score, play against bench units, stuff like that. If he's lighting it up and he's on fire, you can close out games with him. That's something that is a possibility. But then if that's the case, which team wants to pay the max for a sixth man? Which team is going to give max money for a sixth man? There's very few Ginobilis in this world. And how long is Collin Sexton going to want to play as a sixth man? I'm just exploring ideas and possibilities here. I do think he will find a team. He's too talented, too young, too much upside. But I do think the plus minus is a big factor. I think a lot of teams, including the Cavs, are looking at it as like, we were so much better without him on the court than we were with him. Why would we want to pay him max money to have him back? Now, they are willing to give him something. I believe it was like $20 million a year, somewhere in that ballpark. And he wants he wants the max. He wants like 25 range a year, something along those lines, which I don't think any team is really going to give him that. So it's like, where would you want to play? Do you work out a sign and trade? But what team do you go to? Because you hard cap either of those teams. So it becomes very complicated. I think ultimately what's going to end up happening is he's going to have to take like a kind of prove it deal. He's going to have to sign a 1-year deal, on maybe 18 million or something like that. And then that's probably best case scenario, but he signs a 1-year deal. He goes out, he balls. And then if he does, I think he becomes a free agent and a team will take a flyer on him. A team will pick him up because he's a guy that can do so much. He could be your scoring guard. Again, he is undersized, but he can do a lot. He can put a lot of production on the court. I think as he grows, as he develops, as he gets better, if he can get in the right situation, the right culture, with the right coach and stuff, and kind of put him in a position to be successful, then I think that he can improve that plus minus. I think also when he was on the Cavs, it was kind of at the time where he was coming into the Cavs and he was coming into his own, it was a little more of the Wild West with the Cavs. He was just able to go out there and just kind of be reckless and, make some flaw plays, but make some solid plays, things like that. Where now the Cavs are in a position where they want more structure. Like they're in a great position. They were a really fun, young, exciting, competitive team last year. They were sort of like the Cinderella story of last year. Will that continue? I don't know. But if you're the Cavs, you got to be looking in the positive direction. And it's like, do we want a guy that is a net negative when he's on the court? Is that something we really want? And do we want to lock him up long term financially? If we get him into a contract that we can't get out of because let's say he's not productive or he doesn't improve or, he's still a net negative when he's on the court, it becomes really difficult to trade him if he's making, 25 to 30 million a year. It's just tough. But anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think is going to happen with Collin Sexton? Do you think that he signs a long-term deal with the Cavs and, maybe they meet somewhere in the middle? Do you think he signs a 1-year prove-it deal with the Cavs? Do you think he signs maybe a 1-year prove-it deal with somebody else? Problem is, I don't know where that would be because I don't think he's going to take a vet minimum contract. I don't think he's going to take, like $2 million a year to go play for somebody when he wants like $40 million. So I think realistically he's going to ride it out. But at some point, maybe if he doesn't sign and he doesn't play, maybe there's a team that has an injury or something and they're more willing to take a chance on trying to take a Collin Sexton. If a team loses like their point guard or like their shooting guard or something, maybe they go and get a Collin Sexton. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he lands on another team at some point this year. I think it's interesting that he just hasn't signed yet with anybody. I mean, no one even tried to throw an offer at him to see if maybe they could let him go. Because I do think if you threw an offer at him that was reasonable enough, I think the Cavs would have just let him walk. But either way, again, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.